Hi, my name is Syom Dangwal and welcome to Physics for Cause. This is lecture number 3 of computational physics. In this particular presentation, we will be going to see how to install the Python. In the previous video, I have discussed about what is the difference between compilation and interpretation. Ever since the Python language was first developed, it has been becoming popular day by day among the programmers. Several versions of Python have been released till now, beginning with the very basic version of the Python, which was Python 1.0. So we shall be working on Python 3.6.5. But later on we will be switching to PyCharm community. But in the initial stage of the learning for the computational physics, we shall be working on Python 3.6.5. Before we start working, Python needs to be installed on your system. So to install Python, you must first download the installation package of the required version, that is 3.6.5, from this particular URL or the link given in the description box as well. So I would simply make a copy to this. And just move towards my browser and just paste it and press enter. I would see the official page or the website of the Python, that is python.org. Okay, so I have these sections like about Python, as we have discussed it very well, that Python is a programming language that lets you work more quickly and integrate your systems more effectively. Here you could find out the downloads for, as I have already discussed in the lecture number 1, that Python is cross independent language or the platform independent language. It can run across different platforms, like here we have Windows, Mac OS, other platforms as well. So then comes the following documentation part. Here there is Python books and essays and the beginner's guide or the audio visual talks and the docs as well. Here we have a Python community. Then we have success stories for the scientific and software development, government, engineering, education, arts, business. These are all the applications of the Python being used in these fields by the scientists or the operators or the engineers. Then we have newsletter to the Python PSF newsletter. As I've already discussed in the lecture number 1, that Python is currently owned by PSF. What exactly is PSF? Is Python Software Foundation. So here comes the official newsletters from the PSF, Python Software Foundation. Then comes the event related to the PSF, Python events archive as well. So to install Python 3.6.5, which I have already installed, but here comes the later version. Here you can see that 3.7 version, 3.8 version, 3.9 version, 3.10 version, 3.11 version. So you can download Python 3.11.2. So this version you can easily download by pressing or clicking on it. So here comes my Python shell. Here you can easily see shell Python 3.9.0. So I am using currently 3.9.0 version. It may differ if you are using Python 3.6.5 version or Python 3.11.10 version. This is basically the shell, or we can easily say that it is IDLE. What exactly is IDLE? It stands for Integrated Development Learning Environment. So it's an environment. Here ideally it's an environment where I can write the Python code. As I have already discussed several times, that Python is flexible, it is dynamic, it is powerful language that can be used in various different ways. It can be interactively used simply to test a code or a statement line by line or while exploring its interface as well. Talking about the application part of the Python, Python is used by the Google search, YouTube, etc. It is widely used for the system programming, navigation, GUI programming, internet scripting, web gaming, text processing, network programming, commercial robots in space, in scientific applications, which we will be going to use in computational physics as well, geoprocessing as well. So these are all the applications of the Python. But to write and run Python programs interactively, listen carefully, to write and run Python programs interactively, we can either use the command line window or the IDLE. So IDLE is a simple integrated development learning environment which I've already written here that comes with Python. So the most important feature of the IDLE is that it is a program that allows the user to edit, run, browse and debug a Python program from a single interface. The interface which you are seeing in this particular shell, or I would say Python shell, allows us to edit the code, to run the code, to browse the code or to debug the code from this particular single interface. आसान भाषा में बात करते हैं, इस पर्टिकुलर इंटरेक्टिव सेल को या इंटरेक्टिव इंटरप्रेटर ऑफ पाइथन में हम क्या कर सकते हैं, लाइन बाय लाइन एग्जीक्यूट कर सकते हैं बाय स्टार्टिंग और टाइपिंग द कोड, और हमको यहीं पे इसका आउटपुट देखने के लिए मिलता है. दिस इज द शेल और दिस इज द इन्वायरमेंट. ये एक ऐसा इंटरफेस है जहां पर मैं खुद से इनपुट डालूंगा और मुझे इंस्टेंट आउटपुट मिलेगा इसी विंडो में. मैं दोबारा बता देता हूं, हम इस पर्टिकुलर वीडियो में बात कर रहे हैं पाइथन शेल की, और आई वुड से पाइथन IDLE. कंफ्यूज मत होना, पाइथन शेल और पाइथन IDLE में कोई डिफरेंस नहीं है. बेसिकली द इंटरएक्टिव इंटरप्रेटर ऑफ पाइथन इज टर्म्ड एज पाइथन शेल. तो यहां पर जो हम लाइन बाय लाइन इनपुट देंगे, हमको उसका आउटपुट भी लाइन बाय लाइन मिलता रहेगा. सो बेसिकली अगर मैं यहां पर IDLE को इरेज करता हूं, ध्यान से देखिएगा, बिकॉज दी छोटी छोटी चीजें यहां पर इंपॉर्टेंट है. अच्छा, जो मेरा कर्सर है, कर्सर के लेफ्ट साइड में आप ये देख रहे हैं 3 एरोज बने हुए, 3 ग्रेटर देन का साइंस बना हुआ है. इसे पाइथन की लैंग्वेज में प्रॉम्प्ट कहा जाता है. प्रॉम्प्ट, ध्यान से सुनिएगा, प्रॉम्प्ट, और आई वुड से दैट पाइथन प्रॉम्प्ट कमांड, पाइथन प्रॉम्प्ट कमांड. Basically, this Python shell displays this prompt. I would highlight this prompt by selecting just this prompt. If I would make enter, then I would get a syntax error because this is not a code. I am just showcasing to you. So if this is a prompt, it is used to indicate that it is waiting for us to write a command. Listen it very carefully. When we open Python interactive mode, this is the Python interactive mode, Python shell with this prompt gets displayed for the user for us to enter the commands directly in front of it. So this is the command line interaction. So let us build our first program. And you know what? How to create a first program? So you would just simply print print and just make a parenthesis bracket and then double inverted comma, because you are typing or displaying the string message. So I am going to write welcome to the course of computational physics, or and I have to make sure that I will mark at the ending the inverted comma and with the parenthesis closed. As I have already discussed that the input output and the error messages are displayed through colors, so it is very beneficial for the programmers to easily understand the structure of the Python syntax. So as I put enter, I would get the output in the same window, welcome to the course of computational physics with an exclamatory marks, which I mentioned here. सो इसी विंडो में, इसी पाइथन शेल में, इसी IDLE में, इंटीग्रेटेड डेवलपमेंट लर्निंग इन्वायरमेंट के इसी डेस्कटॉप के वर्जन में मुझे क्या मिल रहा है, आई एम गेटिंग द आउटपुट अंडर माई इनपुट. जैसे ही मैं इनपुट डाल रहा हूं, आई एम गेटिंग द आउटपुट इंटरैक्टिवली. तो यही है पाइथन का इंटरैक्टिव मोड, where I am putting some input and I am getting some output in the same environment or the same window. Let us write something. Okay, so I would write print, then again the same thing you have to apply if you are going to print anything else. So first of all parenthesis, then if you are applying the string, then you have to mention the or type the double inverted comma. If I would say, let us say what I want to write. Here you will learn how to solve the complex problems using Python programming language. This is my statement. This is double inverted comma with a closed parenthesis, and I would press enter. Here I would got the result or the output. तो कहने का मतलब क्या है, इस पर्टिकुलर प्रेजेंटेशन और इस पर्टिकुलर वीडियो के थ्रू मैं आपको ये शो करना चाहता हूं दैट पाइथन सपोर्ट्स द इंटरेक्टिव मोड. और जिस मोड पे अभी हम वर्क कर रहे हैं, इस मोड को ही कहते हैं इंटरेक्टिव मोड. जो नेक्स्ट मोड हम बात करेंगे वो स्क्रिप्ट मोड है. अभी हम इंटरेक्टिव मोड पे वर्क कर रहे हैं, जहां पर हम आउटपुट ले रहे हैं, आउटपुट हमको मिल रहा है अंडर आर इनपुट. जो इनपुट है, इनपुट के जस्ट बाद हमको आउटपुट मिल रहा है. बट अगर मैं स्क्रिप्ट मोड के बारे में बात करता हूं, तो वहां पर हम पूरा पैराग्राफ लिखते हैं, पूरे सेट ऑफ कोड्स लिखते हैं. उसके बाद हमको नेक्स्ट विंडो में, नेक्स्ट एनवायरमेंट में हमको आउटपुट मिलता है. सो दिस इज द ब्यूटी ऑफ पाइथन. So this is the practical implementation, how to use or how to write code. One thing I would like to mention in this particular video, that Python is a case sensitive language. Python is a case sensitive language. What does it means? It means that Python differentiates between capital and small alphabets. अगर मैं यहाँ पर लेट अस सपोज मैंने लिखा प्रिंट लेट अस सपोज माई नेम इज शिवम डंगवाल. ओके, आई वुड प्रेस एंटर, आई गॉट द आउटपुट. बट व्हाट इफ आई राइट प्रिंट माई नेम इज शिवम डंगवाल, बट आई एम राइटिंग, see it very carefully, I am writing here capital P. So what will happen if I would press enter? So I would got error. I am getting error. Why? Because here I have used capital P, and as per the law of the Python is a case sensitive language, which means that it differentiates between capital and small alphabets. For example, in this particular practical implementation, I have written or I have print capital P. Here it analyzes capital P and small p. These are two different things for Python. Whereas print is valid command in Python, but if I am going to talk about here print, this is invalid. But if I am going to talk about print, this is valid, because in this P is capital, here in this P is small. So this can be observed by typing the command print. So Python will not be able to interpret it, as I have already discussed. So it will show an error, which this is showing traceback error or PyShell line 1 in module. My name is Shyam Dangwal. So this is what exactly an error coming. Okay, so you must remember that while using the print command, you have to make sure that you have to write this print with small p. And if you are using the quotation marks or the inverted commas, you have to either use single inverted comma or double inverted comma, then only the argument will be displayed. Argument means the statement. And if you are not using the inverted comma, this inverted comma, if you are not using, make sure to use the inverted comma. If you are not using the inverted comma, so what would happen if the argument is not placed within quotation marks? Then the interpreter tries to evaluate the argument and displays the result. This feature is used to perform only calculations for the scientific computing. Okay, so let us see about this particular thing. Okay, so now from here comes the journey of evaluating arithmetic expressions. Here comes the evaluation part of the arithmetic expressions, and here is the practical implementation. So I am using this Python IDLE as a calculator, just like or text or string messages we are using here in WhatsApp or Telegram. So if I want to add two numbers, let us say 5 and 8, I would just simply write 5 plus 8 and I would press enter. I got the value, that is 13. If I would subtract these two numbers, 5 minus 8, I would get minus 3. If I would say that I have to multiply 3.14 multiply by 56 and I would press enter, I would get the output in one go. If I would say 3.14 divided by 5, press enter, I would get some output in one go. So this is the beauty of Python, in which we are getting the output line by line. Interpretability condition is using here. Okay, so the statements are immediately executed by the Python interpreter and output is displayed within fraction of second. If I would make a complex problems like 3.14 multiply by 20.8 multiply by 20.8, and if I would manually do it, it will take a time, but in Python it is comparatively easy. I just need to press enter and I got the value up to these decimal places. So I have got the output 1358 point so and so. So this is the beauty of Python, in which I have just glimpse. I have given you the glimpse of using PyIDLE as a calculator, just like the text messages we use in WhatsApp and Telegram. One thing I want to make to you clear, that these all evaluation of the arithmetic expressions, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus, everything else which we will be going to cover in the next lecture. In this particular lecture, I just only want you to glimpse about how to install the Python, what fundamental of Python we are going to use, what is the interactive Python shell, and how to install and how to work on Python. So is this is basically the interactive mode, interactive Python cell. Here there is a prompt. I have already told you that these three greater than signs, these are the signs for the greater than, are called a prompt or Python command prompt, which gets displayed, which is used to indicate that it is waiting for us to write a command. Next, what is script mode? स्क्रिप्ट मोड क्या होता है? सिंपल, इसे समझते हैं। स्क्रिप्ट मोड क्या होता है? जिसमें हम पाइथन एडिटर के रूप में वर्क करते हैं। इसके लिए सिंपली हमको कंट्रोल एन पे क्लिक करना है। आई वुड सिंपली से कंट्रोल एन प्रेस करना है और उसके बाद जो ये विंडो खुलती है, दिस इज अ स्क्रिप्ट मोड। सो इस पे हम लेटर बात करेंगे when we will be going to write code for Fibonacci series. We will be going to write a set of codes later. एक चीज और I want to clear you that अगर suppose I want to write a argument print, let us suppose I love physics. This is a code. If I press enter, I will get output. And again I want to execute the same statement or the same argument with little change. अगर मैं इसमें थोड़ा सा चेंज करना चाहूँ, जैसे print I love computational physics, तो मैं क्या दोबारा लिखूंगा इसे? print I love computational physics. तो इसमें क्या होगा? थोड़ा सा मेरा टाइम क्या होगा? वेस्ट होगा। And being a programmer or being the student of physics, we need to value time. So to repeat the above command in ideally, simply press Alt and P. Alt and P, and I would get this particular result, and I would just make the cursor where I just want to write computational physics and just press enter. If I also want to make some change in this particular statement, मैं क्या करूंगा? फिर से मैं इसी स्टेटमेंट में प्रिंट आई लव कंप्यूटेशनल फिजिक्स में कुछ चेंज करना चाह रहा हूं, तो मैं सिंपली क्या करूंगा? इस प्रॉम्प्ट सेल के नीचे ऑल्ट प्लस पी को प्रेस करूंगा। मेरी वही स्टेटमेंट रिपीट हो जाएगी। उस स्टेटमेंट में मेरे को जो भी चेंजेस करने हैं, ऑल दैट चेंजेस विल बी कंसिडर्ड वैल्यूएबल। I love computational physics and quantum mechanics. Quantum mechanics. Quantum mechanics. Okay, so the spelling is most probably right. Then I would press enter. I would get some result. Again मैं इसमें कुछ changes करना चाहता हूँ। Alt plus P दबाऊंगा, जिसमें मैं print I love computational physics. I would simply say comma quantum mechanics, comma statistical mechanics, comma, or I would say thermodynamics. So I would press enter, so I got the output. Basically, I just not want to tell you that you have to write the correct spelling in the argument. My major concern is that if you are going to save your time in the solution of the complex problems, so simply to repeat the command in ideally, you need to press Alt plus P from your keyboard in order to save time as well as your typing effort. आप सिर्फ टाइम ही यहाँ पे सेव नहीं कर रहे, यू आर ऑल्सो सेविंग द टाइपिंग एफर्ट. सो in the next presentation or the next video, we will be going to understand more deeper about how to evaluate arithmetic operations. We will be using Python as a calculator, not just particular specific calculator. I already designed a scientific calculator using Python, which supports the functionality of trigonometric functions, exponential functions, and logarithmic functions, apart from the basic plus minus addition, subtraction, multiplication, division as well. But we will be going to evaluate the arithmetic operations by using this particular Python interactive mode. So that's all for today's lecture. Meet you soon in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching the video.